I'm Denise.
2 weeks ago, on Mother's Day, my world flipped upside down. I was working my usual shift at the Maple Leaf Diner, a place I'd called my second home for the past 4 years. That's when my mom walked in, flanked by my younger sister, Ava. They were dressed to the nines, while I was in my worn-out server uniform. Mom looked me up and down, then let out a laugh that cut through the diner like a knife. "Oh, it's you. We didn't realize you still slaved away here. How embarrassing for us." Ava giggled beside her, and the diner went quiet. I could feel the eyes of the 6 surrounding tables on me. But instead of shrinking away, I picked up the menu and said 4 words that changed everything. "Today's my last day." Let me take you back to the beginning. When I was 15, my parents divorced. My dad, a dreamer with a wandering heart, left without a word. Mom was never the same after that. She became cold and distant, and somehow, she decided that I was to blame. "You're just like him," she'd say, her eyes full of resentment. Ava, on the other hand, was her pride and joy. She had Mom's charm and her ability to wrap people around her little finger. When Ava got accepted into a local art school, Mom threw a huge party. Streamers hung from the ceiling, and a banner read, "Congratulations, Ava." Meanwhile, I was holding an envelope that contained my acceptance letter to Stanford University, a full-ride scholarship. I showed Mom the letter, my hands shaking with excitement. She glanced at it, then shrugged. "I can't afford to send 2 kids to college. Ava needs all the support she can get. You're strong, Denise. You'll figure it out." That night, I watched as Mom gave Ava a brand new car, a shiny red convertible. I got a list of part-time jobs. I started working at the Maple Leaf Diner to pay my way through college. For 4 years, I pulled double shifts, got little sleep, and missed out on so many things. While Ava posted pictures from her art trips to Italy on Instagram, I was memorizing the diner's wine list. While she celebrated her 21st birthday in Bali, I ate leftovers in my tiny apartment. I maintained a 3.8 GPA, conducted research with Professor Thompson in the economics department, and was even published in a student journal. But Mom never came to any of my achievements. "I wish I could, sweetie, but Ava has this thing," she'd say. To the family, I was the black sheep, the one who gave up on college to work. No one knew that I was just a few credits away from graduating with honors. 3 weeks before Mother's Day, I got an email that changed everything. It was an offer letter from Blackstone and Company, one of the top financial firms in the country. I'd applied on a whim, not expecting anything. But there it was, in black and white. "Dear MS. Denise, we are pleased to offer you the position of Junior Financial Analyst." I remembered that Ava had posted an Instagram story about applying for a big job a few months ago. She'd cropped out the company name, but I recognized the application portal. She never mentioned it again, and I wondered if she'd been rejected. I decided that Mother's Day would be my last shift at the diner. I printed the offer letter and put it in my work bag, just in case. A few days before Mother's Day, Mom called me. Her voice was sickly sweet at first. "Ava suggested we have brunch together as a family." I told her I had to work. Her tone turned sharp. "You always have to work. It's like you're avoiding us." I tried to explain, but she wouldn't listen. "A real daughter would make time for her mother," she said. I could hear Ava giggling in the background. I knew then that they were up to something. When Ava texted me later, saying they'd come to the diner for brunch, I knew they were coming to embarrass me. But I was done hiding. The night before Mother's Day, I couldn't sleep. I ironed my uniform, read the offer letter one more time, and made 2 lists: things I wouldn't do, cry, yell, apologize, and things I wanted, to tell the truth, leave with dignity. At the diner, the morning started off smoothly. I served a single mom with 3 kids and an elderly couple celebrating their anniversary. It was moments like these that reminded me of what a real family should be like. Then, Rebecca, my friend and coworker, tapped me on the shoulder. "They're here," she said. I took a deep breath and walked over to their table. Mom's eyes traveled down my uniform, and her expression turned cold. "Oh, it's you," she said, loud enough for everyone to hear. "How embarrassing." Ava laughed, and the diner went quiet. I looked at them, at the strangers watching, and at the offer letter in my locker. I decided it was time to tell the truth. Actually, I said, I have an announcement. Today's my last day. Starting Monday, I'll be a financial analyst at Blackstone and Company. The diner erupted in murmurs. Mom's face went pale. That's ridiculous. You're a waitress. You didn't even go to college, she said. I calmly told her about my college years, my GPA, and my research. I also confronted Ava about her failed job application. The whole place was in an uproar. Mom tried to complain to the manager, Mr. Harris, but he sided with me. He'd been watching the whole thing. I decided to serve them anyway. I told them to order whatever they wanted, and that the desserts for the whole section would be on them. Mom was trapped. She couldn't say no without ruining her perfect mom image. When the bill came, it was a hefty sum. Mom tried to pay with her credit card, but it was declined. Mr. Harris then informed her that due to her behavior, she'd have to pay in cash. As Mom was scrambling through her wallet, Ava's phone started going crazy. She'd been live, streaming the whole thing, and now there were thousands of people watching. The comments were brutal, calling her a bully and Mom a horrible mother. Mom tried to call Aunt Carol for help, but even she hung up on her after seeing the video. Mom finally turned to me, her voice cracking. Please, I'm your mother. I looked at her, at the woman who'd made my life a living hell for so long. I reached into my apron and pulled out my tip envelope. I'll pay your bill, but this is the last thing I ever do for you, I said. They left without a word. The diner cheered for me, and I received the highest tips I'd ever gotten. Over the next few weeks, the video went viral. Ava lost a huge number of followers, and her influencer career was over. Family members who'd believed Mom's lies for years reached out to me, apologizing. The following Monday, I walked into Blackstone and Company. In a new suit. My desk had a nameplate, Denise, financial analyst. 3 months later, I got my first promotion. My life was finally changing. Ava called me once, apologizing, but I wasn't ready to forgive her yet. Mom remained silent. This past Mother's Day, I didn't work. I bought myself a bouquet of sunflowers and sat in my apartment, looking out at the city. For the first time in a long time, I felt free. I realized that my worth isn't determined by my family's opinion. I've built my own success, and I'm proud of who I've become.